Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Laps Down podcast. My name is Andrea.
And I'm MJ.
And we are so excited to be back for another episode. Real quick, if you haven't already, be sure to give us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening to us on. And also, leave a comment, like, subscribe, whatever, honestly, makes your heart sing and what makes our podcasts able to continue to be made and hopefully sent out to other people that might be interested in the content. So thank you guys so much for that. And you want to just get into it? I don't know. Are you ready? I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. We can start with F1. There was not a race today. Yeah, today. We're filming on Sunday. I hate to break the fourth wall. It's the day before. It's not Monday right now. There was no race this weekend. And honestly, probably grateful for it. We had a pretty heavy triple header for F1. And there was a lot of news in that 3 weeks. And now there's no news, which I'm kind of grateful for. All we have is McLaren is changing their apparel from that Castor brand to Puma, which means a large majority of the grid is using Puma now, and I think maybe Red Bull uses Castor still. I've never bought anything from this brand because I hate the look and feeling of this fabric. Puma seems to make nice stuff, but I was thinking why is there not different athletic, more athletic brands trying to get into F1? It seems like the only really outlier we have is Adidas for Mercedes. But there's just so many athletic brands now because athleisure is just so popular in style. It is so surprising to me that Puma's picking up another team, and there's no other brands that seem to be kind of making their way in. What's going on there?
I don't know.
What answers do you hold, MJ?
Me and my professional opinion on athletic clothing brands, because obviously I famously know a lot about that. I wonder if it has to do with where the brands are based. Because I know Adidas and Puma are more popular over in Europe, but you're not going to see as much Nike over there, or Under Armour, I guess, would be another one.
I feel like Lululemon has previously done stuff with the Olympics for Canada, and they're an athletic brand. I guess they
busy.
Have a partnership with Lewis Hamilton. I guess.
Yeah, they're doing the PWHL now too. That was just announced 2 days ago. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's cool. I didn't know that. I fuck with Old Navy athletic clothes. Where's our Old Navy F1 brand?
Me too. At least it's do you ever hear about the Fanatics issues that they always have with sports clothing and merchandise? Where the baseball pants are completely see-through. The NHL jerseys are hey, that's actually the wrong logo for that jersey, period. I think that'd be fun to get into F1. Yeah. F1 needs a little manufacturer whimsy.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think that you and I have talked about though, we both have texture and sensory issues related to sports clothing. We both have looked at shirts before and been I'm not fucking touching that.
I can't touch that.
We went into the F1 little souvenir shop in that mini mall in Vegas, and we both were wow, this is really cute. Don't you just hate the feeling of this? Does it make you want to crawl into your skin and die? And I'm no, MJ, I totally relate. I would rather scrape my nails on a chalkboard than touch that jersey. Thank you so much for pointing it out. I will not be buying F1 merch in that athletic-y material probably anytime soon. Although I guess the Adidas stuff from Mercedes kind of looks nice. Fuck it. I should go all in. Kimmy fan. So I can buy the cute Adidas stuff.
Yeah. I don't really like any of the team merch from the teams anyways, unless it's a sweatshirt. Williams, they don't really, they do. They're Puma too. But most of their stuff is just sweatshirt material. It's not anything special or fabric, special fabric. I don't know. I don't fucks with the team kits anyways, so I guess it's
yeah, I do feel there's a lot of people that wear just the straight up team kit to races, and I've never really, I will say I don't see a lot of women doing that, and I think it's because we don't like to look like we work there.
Well, and it's like a polo is hard to like pull off. It's like if I'm not getting paid, I'm not wearing the polo.
No, I'm not. Yeah. I feel like I noticed that like too, like in the hotels in Vegas, there were so many people like walking around like looking like they straight up like work for the teams. And I was just like, that's so strange. Like, why are we like cosplaying as like a tire changer or something?
Which was weird because we had people in our hotel who actually worked for the team. So just imagine like walking around and being like, you're wearing my work uniform.
My uniform.
But you're doing it for fun. Unpaid.
It's weird. It's weird. The other news that we had for F1, you put in the doc, Horner is rumored to retire at the end of 2025.
Oh, so a girl's not allowed to dream?
I think you were thinking ahead a little bit too far. And I think what you meant to put was Helmut. I think that retire is a kind word. I could see him potentially just being like a bit too old to continue to fuck around and travel across the world every couple weeks and terrorize children. I think that takes a lot of energy out of you. And I could see him getting to the age where they might be like, you need to slow down, buddy. You need to go sit at home for a longer period of time than what you're currently doing. Yeah. And you said that you think he might just be too old generally for life.
I think my formal statement on this is, King, you've done so much. Why wait till the end of 2025 to retire when you could be fucking it up in Margaritaville retirement community as soon as next week? We could get you there by next week. You're going to be in Miami. We could show you some retirement homes down there.
I honestly, like, I've thought on it more because I think we've talked about him going to Margaritaville and retiring before in the pod. Funny that seems to, like, that's just like a common occurrence for us. Yeah. We come back to this. I think in Miami, we need to like sit him down and be like, there's many old people who have loved their time here in Florida. We need to hook him up with some Midwestern snowbirds. And we need to be like, this is your posse now. You hang with them.
Yeah.
You live here now. You live in Jacksonville, Florida now. Congratulations. This is where you live. You're not allowed to leave, Helmut. I think that's all we got.
I think you would thrive there. Yeah, a bunch of old people just like saying shit and you're just kind of offensive shit. Like he would thrive there.
Midwestern snowbirds saying offensive shit while sitting on a porch in Florida. That is what they do.
Yeah.
They fucks with that heavy. They would love you, dude. Hell yeah.
You're going to fit in so well. They'll respect you here.
Yeah. You live in Florida now. So just stay put. But there was obviously talks about who would replace him. And there was like, I think an article written by Motorsport or something like that. That was like the most logical person would be Sebastian Vettel. I don't know if Sebastian Vettel has ever indicated he wants that job, but a lot of people have volunteered him for that job. What do you think?
What about the bees?
I think the bees, they don't have to be attended to at all times.
You haven't heard about the bees? The bees are having issues, dude. The bees are going extinct. That's why we're saving the bees. And if Sebastian Vettel isn't saving the bees, who's going to be saving the bees?
Do you think Sebastian Vettel's beekeeping age?
I do.
I do too. I'm glad we could clear that up.
Yeah.
I don't think he needs to be at the bees like all the time. I do think it would be interesting to see him take on like a developmental role within Red Bull because obviously any kid who's probably ever dreamed of being in the Red Bull junior program, A, I feel so sorry for that kid. B, they probably look up to Sebastian Vettel very much.
Sure.
Did you see on the Team Torque episode, I think you sent it to me, but I also like saw it where Alex and Carlos were talking about their time in the Red Bull Junior Academy. And Carlos was talking about how happy he was he finished school because he thought Helmut Marko was going to kill him if he didn't win like the junior championship he was in. And it was just so funny seeing like these two people and like I kind of forget that they both have lived this trauma because they're like just so happy to be at Williams. And you think like what type of person could be so happy being at Williams all the time? Then you remember where they came from and you're like, they're just hanging out.
They're just scared little trauma boys. No, he literally did, like, the motion of, like, getting the head cut off when they were talking about like what Helmut Marko would have done if he had performed well.
And I think Alex said that Helmut was gonna, and
yep.
he said no, Helmut was gonna. What is that? So maybe Sebastian Vettel could bring a different energy where he could be like, hey kids, I think it's important to save the bees. I think it's important to go to school. And I think it's also maybe important to win this race. All of those things can be important.
All of those things can be equally important. I wonder how much the Red Bull garage would have to change for Sebastian to consider coming back. Like, would he still come back if Christian Horner was there and, like, some of the current management? Because, like, right now... Well, I mean, all it is a job. Like, all they're offering him is a job. It's not like, hey, you get to, like, start this from the bottom. You get to make it your own. It's just like, oh, no, this position is empty that you have to fill, but, like, nothing's really going to change outside of you trying to make an effort to make it change, but we're probably all going to block that anyways.
I think that there are some team bosses and stuff like that I think even if things go wrong at their team, generally, I think their job is deservedly safe. Like, I think, like, Fred Vasseur... Toto, they have a lot of respect. They can manage change really well in their organizations. And I don't think that anything going wrong at their organization is necessarily to mean that their entire leadership is in question. If I don't know who the fuck is in charge of this decision, but like somebody has to fire Christian Horner. The entire environment at Red Bull has deteriorated in such a fast pace between Helmut Marko and Christian Horner. It is unbelievable to me that these two people still have jobs. When you have your star driver rumored to be talking around because everything he's ever known and loved about this organization has crumbled. He doesn't have the car designer he wants. He doesn't have the manufacturer of their power unit that he wants. He doesn't have the teammate that he needs. He doesn't... I think if I were somebody that was in charge of these sorts of things, I would say... fuck it. Yeah. Let's get rid of Helmut Marko. Let's also get rid of Christian Horner. Let's bring Sebastian Vettel in to run our developmental program. And let's hire a team boss that can run an organization without being a sexual predator and a weirdo and a creep.
Yeah.
I don't think that's that hard.
Sounds pretty simple to me.
All right. Well, I'm glad we solved that. Do we want to talk about IndyCar?
Let's talk about IndyCar.
All right. We solved that problem. Fire him. Okay, so we had Indy 500 open testing. I love how you went out of your way to advertise for IndyCar on social media. Be like, everybody that's trying to get into IndyCar, guys, there's this beautiful thing, open testing. You just log on YouTube. You can watch it all. It's so sick and cool. How did they start off the first day of open testing for us, MJ?
Oh, just about 3 hours of nothing. They had technical difficulties for the first 3 hours.
Fuck it. Technical diffie. I like that.
Techie diffies.
They had some techie diffies.
And you know what? That's totally fine. I didn't sit through it. I was fully anticipating on like watching a little bit later, but I did click in a couple times just to be like, hey guys, we still not cooking yet. We still preparing everything. And there were easily 10,000 people sitting in there every single time because it was free to watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's, first of all, crazy viewership for a work day. I know that I was also working, but like for you guys, get a job.
Like literally, what are you doing? I think the technical difficulty from what I saw was that they couldn't get like the light system on the track to be correct. I saw a random picture that was like one of the lights was showing green and one of them was showing a red.
That's hard.
And I could see how that could be confusing as a driver.
I'm glad they fixed that.
So they had to fix that. A lot of people wanted to blame Fox for it. And I was like, guys, I'm all for shitting on Fox. I actually don't think that this one was on them.
No.
Do you think we could blame Fox anyways, though, just to make it easy if we want?
Sure. I'm always down to blame Fox. I miss Peacock so much. Like, genuinely. You didn't like Peacock?
I mean, like, it was fine. But I don't think I like it.
What was nice was it was just, like, the Peacock app. Because I was thinking about how I'm going to watch the race next weekend while we're at the track. And I was like, there's no way I'm getting YouTube TV to think that I'm at home while I'm in Miami.
I have Fubo. We can watch it on my phone. Fubo.
Oh, that's lovely. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got that sorted.
Yeah, glad you guys are here for this, for us to figure this out. I was surprised that they had commentators for the entirety of open testing. I'm not going to lie, I kind of was expecting it to just be like me watching cars. Like, I had never watched open testing before. And I was like, oh, you bitches are clocked in, huh? I'm getting James Hinchcliffe all day today, huh?
They did a really good job, too, of, like, mostly staying on topic. There were a couple times where I was like, hey, guys, what are we talking about? But it was actually pretty impressive.
I was surprised at how nicely produced everything was. Whenever they had like a yellow flag or something like that, or they had to fix something on track, they would cut to these like really nice like mid-roll interviews done with Doug, the president of IndyCar, with each of the drivers talking about like their Indy 500 experience, like for the ones that had previously won, talking about like their experience as winners and then like coming back, or for the people that had been like hungry for a win, like talking about what they've done differently and stuff. And it was way more produced than I thought it was going to be for just a YouTube live stream. So I would say I was like pretty impressed once they got the show on the road. But the show not being on the road and there being 10K viewers, missed opportunity.
Yeah, that does kind of suck, but also pretty cool that there was 10K viewers when literally nothing was happening.
I will say, too, the people in the chat of the live stream were insane people with peace and love. Like, some of you guys were insane. They were literally fighting, like just waiting while the technical difficulties. They were like, who do you guys think is better, Max Verstappen or Kyle Larson? I was just wondering, does anybody here watch NASCAR? I really like Daytona 500. Hey guys, does anybody here think F1 sucks? I was just like, what is going on here? Did you guys just log in during the workday and be like, buck it, I want to start fights. Let's go. What's going on here?
It's all the people who are on motorsport Twitter. They're just like, oh, look, a new place for me to write the same shit. Cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was testing, I guess. What was going down at testing? What was the goal? What was the intention? And like, what were the little phases that we were going through?
So the goal of testing was they were getting their Indy 500 cars on track, because the Indy 500 car is different than like your normal, everyday Indy car. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit special. Although some of them didn't change, like, their Indy 500 cars from last year. However, we do have the hybrids this year.
So they were heavy.
So they are about 100 pounds heavier, which is something that everyone had to deal with, sure. Ryan Hunter-Reay had a little conversation. I don't remember if it was with Georgia or not, or if it was just something that James was talking about.
Georgia. Love you, Georgia.
She's so good. Everything she does is so amazing.
So happy you're back, girl.
But he was talking about how the hybrid is probably the biggest change to an IndyCar that he has ever had to work through. And Ryan Hunter-Reay has been in the sport for a hot minute. He was there before, like, the aero screens were there. So just hearing that from him.
He was there when they were still racing the Model Ts, I heard.
He was still there when they had to stick their feet out of the bottom and run a little bit to accelerate like the Flintstones. But so that was, I don't know, that always makes me nervous when they're like, no, it's like, really it's different. It's really different. Yeah. And there was like, I think it was the end of day 2, Kyle Kirkwood was showing like the blisters on his hands, and he's like, I've never in racing IndyCar ever had to deal with blisters like this. He's like, you're driving a whole different beast now on the oval, especially with the boost. So that's exciting. But then we also had the rookie orientation and oval refresher. And basically they have to go through 3 different phases. They have to do, I think, 15 laps in each phase. And each time, they just have to get like a little bit faster. So like the first 15 laps have to be like 205, and then it goes up to 210 to 215, and then you have to do 215 plus for the last phase. And you have to complete that if you're a rookie, and we have 3 rookies, or if you need an oval refresher. So we had like Andretti was out there. Who else was out there? Kyle Larson and Takuma Sato. Takuma Sato, who it was kind of, some of the other veterans were like, why does Takuma have to do it? Why does he have to do it if the other vets don't have to do it? And then we also got an interview from Takuma Sato, and he's like, oh, thank God I had to do that, because I was way out of my wheelhouse with the hybrid.
I would have been in trouble.
No, he was literally happier than a clam to have done that. So
he had a little moment, though. I felt bad.
Yeah. On day 2, after they did the high boost simulation, it was like the second part where they had no more boost. Him and Kyle Larson sent it into a wall and ended their day pretty early, but...
Yeah, Kyle's like, I guess like I'm trying to remember like what the vibes were, what happened, and what their cars looked like. And I just remember Takuma's looking like that car was pretty crumpled.
Oh, he was driving. He was going quite quick.
Boy sent it into the wall.
Still managed to be top 3 fastest that day, if that tells you anything.
Yeah, they kept showing the timesheets, and like he's sitting up there, but his car was
he hasn't been here for hours
at that point. Yeah. I mean, Kyle just had like a brush with the wall, but it was enough to make it like he couldn't keep driving. But like he didn't crumple the car. Like
no, and he had issues all weekend. Like he ended, or not all weekend, all middle of the week.
All on random weekdays. All random weekday.
He was having issues with his car during his oval refresher, and so he ended up having to complete it like after everyone else had already gotten done, which was that's kind of embarrassing, but like what can you do? So
you need a refresher, like you don't fucking drive ovals every weekend. Idiot.
Man's new to ovals. Go back to Xfinity, Kyle.
Somebody needs a little more time in trucks, huh? Idiot. No, I did think it was funny, the discourse that was created around Kyle Larson crashing, because there was like half the internet that was like, fucking loser, this is the guy who said he's better than Max Verstappen. And then there's the other side of the internet that was responding to those posts with like, Max Verstappen wouldn't even touch an oval, like stupid loser idiot, that's NASCAR legend Kyle Larson. And then there was you and I on a different side of the internet that was like, you guys give a fuck about Kyle Larson?
It's like, why are we still talking about him?
Like, okay, cool, he had a good time. I don't know. Like, it's testing. It's testing, y'all. These are fucking testing my patience. That's what you're testing.
That was good. That was really good.
Thank you. Okay, what else do you have? Kyle Larson, crash, Kyle Kirkwood, blisters. Day 1, fastest, Scott Dixon, Joseph Newgarden, Takuma Sato. Day 2, fastest, Sky McLaughlin, Takuma Sato, Will Power. Who are you betting on? You want to make rash decisions about who's going to win the Indy 500?
Really, really fun. No, we absolutely should. Can I have a second to think about it?
Yeah.
So Scotty Mac, as we all know, got pole position last year. Unfortunately, did not win the race. The other yellow and red car won the race. And he's bringing back the exact same Indy 500 car that he drove last year. Joseph Newgarden is not driving the same car. However, obviously the hybrid's in it.
Fuck it. Scott Dixon.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Ugh. That would be so fun, guys. You guys want to do it?
I think Kyle Kirkwood's going to win.
Okay.
I think...
I'm trying to remember what my prediction was when we did our motorsports predictions video, which you guys can go back and watch, by the way, if you want.
Predicted... Did we? An Indy 500 winner?
Yeah. Definitely, I can tell you your prediction was not Kyle Kirkwood, but I like it now.
Well, I've just watched testing for 24 hours this week, so...
Yeah. I kind of think it would be fun if... I don't know. Somebody really unexpected. Fuck, who do I want to go with? Can I take your answer? I like your answer.
You want to take Kyle Kirkwood?
I don't know. It just seems like it would be fun,
You can
right?
have Kyle Kirkwood. Can I choose someone else?
Okay, no, I don't want it anymore then. I felt affirmed when you and I were making the same decision. I don't know.
Wait, you said Scott Dixon.
Yeah, I think Scott Dixon would be fun for the storyline. So, yeah, you know what? I'll keep that.
Scott Dixon would be fun. I think it'd be sick to see Takuma Sato win.
I was kind of thinking like that would be kind of sick, and he was kind of fucking cruising.
Oh, I said Pato.
I think I might
in our
as well.
video.
I'm not feeling confident.
I take that back.
Can I be honest? I think a lot of people are saying that Pato's going to win just because, like, obviously he's like due for one, but that's not like the reality that we're looking at right now. I don't think.
Yeah.
If like you can say it would be nice for him to win, and I would agree with that.
I would absolutely love to see him win.
I'm just not feeling like this season. I haven't been getting like confidence vibes from Pato with how things have been going this season.
Well, I feel like Aaron McLaren, there's something not clicking right now. To be fair, we are going to have like 3 more races before, or 2 more races.
And they have time. They have time to get into the Indy 500 vibe. You know what I mean? Like they have the month of May, like to get into the swing of things. He doesn't have to be perfect every day. He just has to be perfect that one day. You know what I mean? So like a lot can go his way, and I think he still could win. And he's obviously not a bad bet. I'm just not feeling the vibe anymore from him.
No. Oh yeah, it could be someone random though. Like, I really I noted to shout out Kiffin Simpson because he was in the top 10 the second day. He was doing pretty well. Good. So was Stingray Robb. Could you imagine if we get a Stingray Robb Indy 500 win before we get a Pato Award win?
I would like to see, what if we for the storyline we get a Connor Daly win? Like he's been through a lot. You know what I mean? And you were talking about his little moment on the stream.
Yeah, on Mound 2, because they open up the second hill, or the mound on turn 2. There's not multiple mounds, I don't think. People can just sit there and watch the Indy 500 testing for free. And at one point during the broadcast, they were like, oh, they've spelled something out there with beer cans. I think it says 500. And then they look closer and they're like, no, it says CD, what is he, 77?
7? Yeah.
Yeah, it was he had a little posse over there. And he had a little interviewer, and he was like, that was just the nicest thing I've ever seen. Which was really cute.
Love him. Okay, let's go to NASCAR, right?
NASCAR.
Because we actually had a race for NASCAR. We didn't, obviously, for IndyCar and F1. NASCAR is back. They enjoyed their one off week of the year. Hope you guys had fun. You'll never get that again. Back to work. Back to the races, losers.
Yeah.
No more vacation for you guys. They announced still in the off week that Homestead Miami is back in 2026 as a playoff final. That is basically everything that the fans have been asking for. Is NASCAR just giving up so easy? They're fine.
They've kind of let on that they were going to do it for a little bit. But I was yeah, no, that's really good. And then part of my mind was I think Andrea and I have already decided that that's what they were doing, though. So, I wasn't shocked at all. I was yeah, no, we thought that was the plan. So,
I think they were just, worn down by the way that all the fans were just operating. That's what should happen. They were fine. If you guys want to keep saying that it's the fucking final, we'll just make it the final, I guess. You guys just keep operating in your own world. Whatever. We also had just a fun brand shout out brand shout out sounds so lame. We're not shouting out a brand.
Shout out to marketing. Shout out to advertising.
Shout out to massive corporations. You guys are so sick. No, but we saw a really cool partnership in the Trek series. We had Tony, who was sponsored by 818, which is Kendall Jenner's tequila brand. And I thought that was really interesting. It's a very Gen Z brand. It's a very women-forward brand. And I feel like it's it's just so trendy. It's rare that we get such a cool, trendy partnership in NASCAR. So I kind of was that's kind of sick.
It's not super commercial, because she has a lot of cool sponsors. She has the Kane sponsors, which I think is a great sponsor. Mm-hmm. And then Victoria's Secret. But I feel those are very they're very not, trendy is a great word, because it's just a cool little celebrity brand.
Yeah, it's so aesthetic, it's very cool girl brand. Whereas very Raising Cane's and Victoria's. Yes, it's very interesting. It is interesting because a lot of people give shit for Tony. Oh, she gets all these sponsors because she's the only woman. I think she gets these sponsors because she is that
cool and marketable. Like her marketing 818 makes sense. Her marketing Victoria's Secret makes sense. Like, and I think that she hustles her ass off and gets really cool partnerships. And I was like really impressed by this partnership. And I thought it was kind of speaking to something I was talking to you earlier, that I was listening to the Happy Hour podcast with Mike Joy, talking about like cool brand partnerships in motorsports and like how much more excited fans get for those versus B2B lame ass fucking oil sponsors or whatever. Like nobody gives a fuck.
Build submarines.
Yeah. And so I guess it's like worth shouting out when cool stuff like that happens. We had the Xfinity race that we both watched pretty intently because we were excited to see Catherine Legg go at it again. And also Connor Zilic was supposed to do pretty well. I left feeling like I didn't have a good time.
Talladega was not nice to us this weekend.
No, I think I wrote down basically the same storyline happened for both of them, which was they were having a great time until some horrible, evil old man ruined it for the both of them. Different ones, though.
Well, yeah. I think technically Connor was taken out by Jesse, but it's more fun to be like, maybe
It's
Austin Hill was pushing a little too hard.
But Catherine, like, we'll start with her. So she, you wrote down this cool stat. She was the 4th woman ever to lead a lap in the Xfinity Series. She didn't even know she did.
She did a little interview, and Bob was like, hey, did you know that you broke this little record? And she's like, oh, I didn't even, she's like, that probably doesn't count if I didn't know it was happening. I was like, okay, well, Catherine. And then people in the comments, I was really surprised. I'm always surprised by the comments. A lot of them were like, you know what? The fact that she doesn't even count it, mad respect. I was like, what does that mean?
I like when this woman lessens her accomplishments. I thought that was
humble.
Pretty sick.
It's like,
I think she just had a lot going on. She was just out there fighting for her life. She didn't have time to worry about records and shit being broken. But I think she was doing a pretty solid job. The whole race.
I mean, a lot of people said probably a top 10 finish the way she was running.
Yeah. So we'll never know.
I'd like
though.
to believe that.
I think fuck it. I think it might have been a win personally.
Hey, look. But who says no?
We'll never know, and you guys can't prove me wrong either. So take that, losers. So then we had Eric Amarola. He just was communicating with his spotter, and his spotter was just like, yeah, go for it. You're good. Move on up. As if there wasn't not only Catherine Legg there, but like a whole other line of, like there was no way ever that was ever going to be like a, yeah, just move on up sort of situation. And you said that he said in his post-race interview, he didn't really even look. He just was like, okay.
His whole post-race interview, he was like, I didn't even look in the mirror. He's like, yeah, that's just racing sometime. I just wreck myself out. And I was like, hey, hon, who else did you wreck out? It was just you.
He massacred Catherine Legg. He's fully like, that's just smashed into the side of her. No care in the world.
He goes, that's just super speedway racing. And I go, did you notice? Actually, nobody else had that issue. Eric Eric with an A,
which I've never seen in my lifetime. By the way,
can't stand that. You're already on my shit list from the start.
Like that was like really creative. Who the fuck came up with that? I still, can we go with Eric Areola, or is that not allowed?
I don't know. I think just Eric is enough.
It's enough. Yeah, that's true. He did though. It was interesting. I saw Catherine Legg was trending on Twitter, and I got scared.
Sure.
Fair. And I clicked on it, and I was surprised to see that everybody was just kind of like, if you try to pretend like this is Catherine Legg's fault, shut the fuck up. You, like, Eric Amarola literally said himself it was completely his fault. Nobody was trying to blame her. And nobody seemed to be, like, saying death threats towards her or anything like that. I wonder if the NASCAR fans are starting to just like accept that Catherine Legg is a woman and she is going to exist in their spaces, and they're going to have to just be normal about it.
I sure would like to think so, but I would love to see it. I think that'd be super sick.
I thought so. I'm glad she's not going to get death threats, I guess. Bars on the floor.
I wouldn't. I saw quite a few people still doing the same shit, even today on Twitter, still talking about it.
Oh, I got on and off of there. You know what I mean? Stopped in for 15 minutes. Gotta go.
Unfortunately, Bob Pockris and Jeff Gluck, they only post on Twitter. I was like, hey guys, it's scary out here. I want to know what's going on, but it is so scary.
I follow a Bob Pockris mirror account on Blue Sky where they just post everything he posts, but I don't have alerts like you do. No. Hey, Blue Sky, make that an option, please. We also had Connor Zilic, who was doing really, really, really well, especially like the last 20 laps of the race. He was firmly asserting himself as like the winner, and I was so excited to see it happen. And then last lap, we have a little shove from Jesse Love go wrong, and he's head on into a wall.
Well, I mean, even more than that, like Jesse was trying to get into the middle lane. Like he was making a move and Connor was like, okay, I'm going to block it. Had Connor not blocked it or attempted to block it, he would have lost the lead is the thing. And that's kind of even what he said in the post-race interview. It was like, I knew it was a risk and I still did it. That's just part of super speedway racing.
Yeah.
But
that's such a get out of jail free card.
That's just part of super speedway racing.
Yeah.
Okay. So true.
Yeah.
So that sucked.
But before then, we also had the great radio from Jesse. What was he mad about? Where he was like, dude, Connor literally just broke Brughead.
Yeah, that was weird.
I don't even know what that was about. But they already had like a bubbling bromance throughout this entire race. You know what I mean? It was like in a romance book where you could feel like this was a last chapter tension building sort of thing. And then he crashes and you have Jesse Love run into the medical care center. And according to Connor, he cried.
Connor just like was fully open when they were talking to the media. He's like, yeah, no, my best friend came in and he was crying and he was telling me that he thought it was his fault because, you know, he didn't want to see his best friend hurt. And, you know, I wouldn't want to see him hurt either. I was like, this is actually really sweet.
Well, and like, I mean, the crash was really fucking scary looking.
He went head on into the safer barriers. It was a very hard crash.
And he had like the radio saying that his back hurt. I was like, I don't like this. They also cut like the feed of his car and stopped talking about him entirely on the commentary. I was getting scared. So I can imagine how Jesse Love was feeling, as that is his best friend in the entire whole world, as they said several times. And yeah, Connor was like, he ran in there, got back down on both of his knees, and he begged for forgiveness, and he cried a little bit. I'll say it. He cried a lot, probably. And honestly, it was such a beautiful moment, and he realized he can't live his life without me, and he didn't want to ever lose me, and we're best friends forever and ever and ever. That's what I heard.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was between the lines.
Yeah. But in all of that, we had like 3 cars as the caution came out at the same time, and then it's like, of course, oh, who was ahead when the caution came out? They decided it was Austin Hill in the moment. Is the Jeb Burton thing still a thing? The appeal?
That he's gonna try to appeal? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's because I didn't see any camera angle in which he won. I'll be forward.
There were camera angles in which he won, for sure. But what do you think NASCAR is gonna do about it?
Well, they're gonna be like, well, we chose this camera angle as the one like, we decided, and we decide this.
It does suck for Jeb, though, because they don't have a lot of chances to win.
Sucks for all of us, because we had to see Austin Hill win.
That's easily the worst part of this all. It's like, well, not easily, but I was like, anybody but Austin Hill. Please, anybody but Austin Hill.
What is his luck? Like what did he do for this kind of luck?
I think that I'm with the conspiracy theorists. I think that NASCAR is a scripted series just like WrestleMania, and I think every week they do anything they can even if that is paying Jesse Love to break bro code and wreck his friend Connor. And then they moved the camera angle specifically to the one camera angle that would show Austin Hill winning. I don't know. I just think a lot of it's lining up to show that NASCAR is fake.
What I love about this conspiracy theory is that they continue to script it for the most, like, unmarketable, unlikable. Okay, that's me.
Right.
They continue to script it for him to win when they could script it for, say, like, Jesse Love or Connor Zilic. Like, very charismatic, like, young newcomers into the series that are, like, exciting for people to watch, who are going to be, like, cup drivers in the future that are, like, very interesting for fans. They continue to be like, no, it's Austin Hill. We gotta script it for this guy.
We gotta make sure he wins one more super speedway.
The amount he has isn't enough. We gotta do one more.
The people are gonna love this. One more.
Yeah. I heard that there is booing. If anybody was there and can confirm for us, that would be interesting for us to know. Yeah, I booed. Hey, raise your hand if you booed in your home. I booed. But I was kind of thinking, I always, like, whenever, like, Denny Hamlin wins and everybody boos, I'm like, what do you get out of it? You know what I mean? It's like, it's so, like, lame, right? To be in the stands and to be like, boo. But then I saw Austin Hill win, and I was like, I could see how booing for him in that moment would be cathartic for me.
I think it would feel really nice to boo him.
Yeah.
When people boo Denny, it's like, you're booing him because he's, like, good. Because he, like, can win. And then when people are booing Austin Hill, I'm like, they're doing it for the people. This is the people's boo.
It's completely different, guys. It's not the same. And that's
it's
why
bringing the nation together, frankly.
Frankly, yeah. But I don't know. I didn't have a good time in Xfinity. So let's go to... do we want to debate over the caution? I don't care. If people want to debate about the caution, it's like, I don't know. There was a guy in the barrier that, like, was, like, maybe dead. So, like... Is it maybe, like, okay that we throw a caution in that situation?
Not according to the internet, no.
Like, what is the alternative? Like, we just, like, I guess, I don't even know why I'm asking this, because I know that those people, their answer is yes. But it's like, say Connor is actually extremely injured and they need to take, like, life-saving measures. And then you have these fuckfaces in the background doing burnouts and finishing the race. Like, could I see, like, why maybe, like, that is, like, not going to translate very well? Yes, I could see why maybe we need a caution.
Yeah. No, it makes sense to me. Also, the safety people, I think, can't be deployed unless there's a caution.
Right. No, people are like, the cars already drove past Connor, though. Like, he's fine. They already drove past. I'm like, right. But, like...
Yeah, the lead cars
ambulance... yeah, right. And, like... ambulances, safety people, like, just generally it's probably good not to have, like, a bunch of cars going, like, 100 and something miles per hour while somebody's potentially extremely injured and you need to, like, take life-saving measures. Like, I could see why maybe it's best we just do the caution.
Had they made it to the start-finish line and Austin Hill crossed the start-finish line first, we would be having the conversation that they should have thrown a caution and that Jeb or Jesse should have won. There's no way to win.
They're mad at the outcome. They're mad at the outcome.
Like, had Jesse or Jeb won, we would have all been like, yeah, okay. Like, that was crazy, but, like, well, it's like, I don't know. You guys you have to get jobs. You have to have someone in your life who cares about you enough to be like, you're being a fucking weirdo on the internet every single weekend. Are you not tired? Do your eyes not get kind of blurry from staring at your phone all day?
Like, what's so confusing to me is that people expect this to be a case-by-case decision that's made in less than a second of, like, do we do a caution this time or not? And the reality is that it needs to just be a rule. We're doing a caution. If this happens, we're doing a caution. And, like, that's just, like, even if you don't like the outcome of it, that's how safety has to work. You don't get to, like, pick and choose.
I think had he spun out, like, had Connor been not headfirst into the safer barrier and he had just spun out and was just down on the apron, like, not on the track, they wouldn't have thrown. Right. So, like, people have to understand that there was a reason they threw the caution this time. Have they fucked up in the past? Yeah. Yes. Will they fuck up in the future? Yeah.
Definitely.
Is this one of the times they fucked up? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think we're just mad at the outcome. And I'm
We gotta
mad.
start going for walks or meditating or something, guys. It's NASCAR.
It's Xfinity.
It's
Not even a cup race.
Xfinity. NASCAR.
Be serious, guys.
It's
Be
not like
serious.
it's IndyCar. That's different. I would feel this way about IndyCar. But NASCAR? You guys are crazy.
Guys, be serious. It's never that deep. So then we had the cup race. It was led by Zane Smith on pole. You said that was the first
pole. First time I ever saw what his face looked like.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a Zane, and especially not spelled like that.
Lots of interesting spellings happening in motorsports.
So creative.
Yeah, I felt good for him, whatever. I don't know, first career pole. I did kind of have to double check. I was like, wait, who's on pole? Zane? Why?
Who's on
what
first?
Happened? And then we had just the normal beginning, fuel saving, yapping about that on commentary. But then we had the first like green flag pit stops, and this is where shit started to hit the fan. Oh, go ahead.
Before that, we went 4 wide. And I just gotta say, there is something about seeing 4 wide at Talladega where I'm like, everything's gonna be all right, isn't it?
Really? Because I don't like it.
Though.
I don't like it.
I do like it. I feel like they're very safe when they're
bustle in the center.
No, I feel like they're safe when they're walking in a pack. Like, you know when you're walking with like a group of girls and it's like we have enough people that we on the sidewalk can have like 2 rows of people. I'm like, I feel very safe like this, and I just assume that that's the same mentality that they have when they're running in a 4 wide pack like that.
I just think like there's too much like overstimulation for me happening in the, like. Could you imagine being in the center of that? Like how scary that would be.
I would feel safe. I'd be like, if someone was going to attack us, they wouldn't get to me first.
I would feel terrified. Just dead center in like that row 2 or 3, just sitting there trying to keep up with everybody, but also not get too fast, but also not get too slow and not get too side to side. Just everybody having to like wiggle around like little atoms. Stresses me out. No bueno.
Fair enough.
Not a fan. Hey, I'll be serious. I liked it more when they were no longer fuel saving and they were like, we got to get where we're going.
Yeah, the last 12 laps
of the stage or whatever, when they would be like,
I feel like the last 12 laps of the race when we saw like literally anything happen. I'm
being generous, okay? There was a little hustle and bustle happening at the end of the stages, but then we had our first green flag pit stops, and Brad and Kyle Busch just were like, what if I don't slow down? What happens? And then we found out what happened.
Yeah, the cars around him apparently checked up a little bit more than they were anticipating. And one of them, was it the 6 went into the 8 and ended up going up and hitting the 48. And Ryan Blaney, bless his heart, who saw them
he was gonna
start
get out of
wrecking up, was like, okay, then I'll go down if they're going to wreck up. But they just like pinballed off of the 48 straight into Ryan Blaney, finishing his race. You know, Ryan Blaney was like, I'm getting out of this. I'm getting out of this. I'm getting out of this. And they were like, fuck you. Psych. That witch, whatever spell she has, was like, get back. You're done. Yeah. I feel so bad for Ryan Blaney fans. Like, I can't imagine what you guys are up to every week, because every week they're like, Ryan Blaney has a really good chance of winning this race. And then it's like, he's always very early on in the race definitely not going to win it by whatever means luck sees necessary to take him out on. So Blaney and Brad were done for the day. Kyle Busch, they taped him up, sent him back out there, and he ended up kind of making up a lot of spots. I think he was the biggest mover and found his way back up towards the front in the final stage. Like, he was doing fine, but like there was a lot of duct tape happening on that car, and it was kind of flopping around in the wind a little bit. And I kind of felt like bad looking at it. I was like, it's sad. It's like seeing like a little baby bird that got hurt or something, and they're just trying to keep up with the pack. You didn't like that joke? I'm just thinking of whether I can say the joke that I said earlier or not. Probably not. Which one do you want to say? I can cut it if necessary. I was just going to say maybe he should have finished when he had the chance. Like, just ended it when he had the chance. Probably. Because he got in the way later on. Anyways, we'll cover that later.
I didn't realize it, but my stream was way behind yours, and I just get this cryptic text that says, I don't think I'm having a good time at Talladega. And I go, can't wait to see what this is about. And then I just see Christopher Bell having like eerily a very similar looking crash to Connor. I was like, why is this white car that I'm cheering for hitting the barrier again? What's going on?
Nearly the same to what happened at Talladega with Cole Custer. Like almost, or not Talladega, Daytona.
I was like, wait, that's where we are right now.
Like nearly identical. Which is what sent Ryan Preece into the air. And I was like, where the fuck is Ryan?
we need eyes on Ryan right now. So he was kind of pushed by Denny. It seemed like, though, he went in the post-race interview, he's like, I'm not going to say it's like Denny's fault. He's so insistent on being like, this is just the shithole you have me racing around in. What do you want from me? He keeps being like, that is super speedway racing. But he says it with more of like an angry tone, whereas like Eric Ariola says it with more of a I'm not taking responsibility for my actions sort of tone. Christopher Bell says it more with a I can't believe you guys forced me to do this as part of my job. This is the dumbest shit I've ever had to do in my entire life sort of tone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he didn't have the same post-race quote that he did in Atlanta after he won, where he was like, I love super speedway racing.
Wait, did you see in the pre-race show he tried to like they asked him about that and they were like, you always say you hate this, but like you did well in Atlanta, and he tried to kind of walk it back in such a funny way. He goes, well, Atlanta's like different, like the racing is actually just like different there, and
because it's not a super speedway technically, I don't think.
But he's just so funny the way he's like, I wish you guys like kind of would stop bringing this shit up all the time. I still feel how I feel about this place. Me winning in Atlanta does not X out my feelings for this. But I felt bad for Christopher Bell, but he didn't seem to feel bad. I think he honestly kind of felt like he was like, thank God I don't. He said it was either going to happen in lap 50 or lap like 100 and something.
Yeah.
So whatever. It happened now. Fine. Whatever. I would love to have that energy when shit goes wrong at work. Christopher Bell is pretty chill. I think, the 3 wins that he has are probably helping him with this chill attitude, but it is so funny just watching him be like, what the fuck do you want from me? I don't know. Who did he take out with him though? Busher, right?
Busher. Poor guy.
Did Busher have like kind of a Wendy's something on his hood or like a blue something? It looked like the Wendy's car and I dead ass thought it was Daniel Suarez, and I was like, we need eyes on MJ. He had a blue hood on his car, I think. I don't know what the sponsor was, but it looked like Daniel Suarez's Wendy's car, and I was like...
I saw that it was 17, and I was like, is that one of the 7 numbers is that Michael McDowell? Is that a Spire car? But it wasn't. But like, felt bad for him, too. He was pissed. He was like, that fucking hurt, these dumbasses. And I was like, yeah, get him. Honestly, so true.
Get him, applesauce guy. Okay, Larson won, making him the all-time stages leader. That's boring.
Man can't even race on an oval. Did you know just earlier this week he had to do an oval refresher? That's how bad he is at ovals.
They had to make sure he remembers what he's doing. Yeah, I don't know. He was kind of there at the end, too, and I thought he was going to, like, cause some chaos at the end. He was going to
wreck somebody out is what... I was like, I gotta be honest, if you take Ryan Preece or Austin Cindric out...
Yeah. I think
I'll see you at the Indy 500, brother.
Yeah. And that's a threat. Yeah, I don't know. He, I think, got, like, a speeding penalty. Dude, so many speeding penalties.
There were quite a few.
It's actually funny because the commentators, they literally, every time somebody gets a speeding penalty, they always kind of say the same thing that's like so obvious. I don't actually need you to say it. They're like, you can't be doing stuff like that. Every week we got these boys out here doing these speeding penalties. You can't be doing stuff like that. And I'm like,
or they'll do like the boy, I bet they sure wish they hadn't done that. Like, oh, that's going to definitely change their race. It's like.
That's how all penalties work.
Correct. Thank you, Clint.
But also when 10 of them have a speeding penalty, it starts to make it like it's just evening out the play. Like it's not even feeling like a penalty anymore. Like so many of you guys have it. It's like whatever. Lots of speeding penalties. We also had Daniel Suarez. He got a speeding penalty. And did you see the poor guy? He missed his pit stall. And it's so funny. They zoom in on him and he's like putting that bitch in reverse. And it goes like really slow in reverse. I was like, can we like...
I think they said that they thought the car had shut off.
I think they did say that as well. And I was like, Daniel, what did we do here? Like, what's going on? We also had somebody get hit in pit lane. One of Carson Hocevar's tire changers got schmacked in pit lane. And they go and do the post-race interview, and they're like, you're an athlete. You train for these sort of things, right? I'm like, train for what? Getting fucking smacked by a car? I don't know what you train for that. And he goes, yeah, I'm pretty tough, and I used to play football, so I'm pretty used to it. And then that was the end of the interview. And
I mean, I'd love to hear more.
I just am not understanding how any of that translates to getting smacked by like a several ton car, but like, what do I know, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I just am not interested in any job that would require me to get hit by a car and then take it like a champ. Like if I get hit by a car, I'm going down and I'm going to act like a baby about it. Like I'm going to
had this conversation before. I'm having major deja vu. Do you remember when we had this conversation with Will Power?
Yeah, because his fucking tire changer keeps sticking his leg out.
It on purpose.
Whoa. Yeah. To be like, either they'll hit me and it'll slow them down, or they'll try to not hit me and it'll also slow them down.
Slow them down.
And I'm like, I don't like this game. But it's funny too, because could you imagine being the driver in the car and you're just like waiting for your pit stop to be done, and you see homie get smacked by a car and then just kind of like roll across the hood and then like kind of take it like a champ? Like I would be like, I'd be like, good, or should I like
can
keep
we talk
driving?
about that for a second?
Yeah, like I don't really feel comfortable just getting back out there after you just got hit by a car. So that was the pit lane drama. Anthony Alfredo didn't know he was there at all.
Anthony Alfredo. Well, if it isn't Anthony Alfredo in the front of the pack. What are you doing, Anthony Alfredo? I only remember you from the back of the pack in Daytona and then wrecking.
R.I.P. Anthony.
And then wrecking like every single Xfinity race ever. Why was he here?
I didn't even, nobody said like, hey, we have some like new faces around here. Some people hanging out in Talladega doing the Cup Series race. Like, I had no idea he was there. And then they're like, and leading out front, because he did not pit, is Anthony Alfredo. And I literally had to like, I'm sorry, who's here? But then it was funny because like no, my boy, Tony, they were like, he's actually, the commentators were like, I want you to know also, like, it's not like a fluke. He's actually kind of doing good. Like, they had to, like, put a disclaimer on it. Like, they were like...
Well, sure. Yeah, because if we had seen him race any other race this year, we would be like, it's a fluke. He's not doing well.
You're right. They're like, I know you guys are just as surprised as we are. He's actually doing really well. And him being out front, yes, it's because he didn't pit. But he also is actually maybe a good racing car driver. I don't know. We'll find out. And I was like, that's a crazy disclaimer to make. I would probably go home and cry if I rewatched the broadcast and that's all the commentators had to say about me leading the race. This was something I was confused about, and maybe you can help clear it up. They kind of just mentioned it in passing, and I was like, I feel like I want to go back to this. I'm not quite understanding what we're talking about here. We had the YouTuber. What's his name?
Cletus McFarlane.
No, not that one. Niemanchek. Is that it?
John Hunter?
Yeah, of the John Hunter variety. He he spun out getting out of the pit lane, and they were like, oh yeah, this has been happening because there's water on the yellow lines, and there's just like puddles of water sitting on the yellow lines, and they're like, it's from the rain, and it just kind of is like trapped there. Why wouldn't they wipe that down?
It's a puddle. How are you going to wipe down a puddle? You'd have to, like, vacuum it out.
They have those, like, high, expensive technology track dryers.
They're busy this weekend.
What's going on here? Like, why did they just leave the puddles?
So that we could have this moment where they could have John Hunter and Nemechek spin out and be like, oh, yeah, it's the puddles.
Did it even rain this weekend in Talladega?
No, it was from, like, earlier this week.
So you're understanding, right? Why I like am kind of thinking we could have fixed this?
What? I understand that we could have, but why would we want to? It's just racing in the elements. Everyone's always like, it's raining, let them drive. And this is a perfect example for NASCAR to be like, well, do you remember when there was a little bit of rain on the yellow lines? Do you remember what happened to poor young John Hunter Nemechek? Nothing
happened. He just spun out and rejoined the race.
It's a cautious tale.
A reminder of what could be if we're not careful. Okay, fair enough. Whatever. I'm glad we cleared that up. I'm convinced. We couldn't have just fucking taken a paper towel and wiped those bitches down. Whatever.
A ShamWow, maybe.
Yeah, like I feel like it's a fixable problem, but if you insist, we can keep it, I guess. We also had some radio drama. Why did we have Joey Logano absolutely have the craziest sounding meltdown on the radio at Austin Cindric? Like the king of doing too much. I'm sorry. I literally was like, we need like anger management therapy. His radio was insane. I've never heard somebody that mad at NASCAR. And I've listened to a lot of Ryan Blaney radios.
It was very dramatic. He was just mad that Austin Cindric didn't push him. And Austin was like, hey, King, if I was going to push you, I was going to wreck the entire field.
Hold on. You said Jeff Gluck transcribed it. So I'm going to go and I'm going to read it for the audience. Okay, just for you guys. I think it's important. Okay. Sorry, hold on.
I was going to say, he does like minute by minute tweets. So
right.
Just start scrolling, you'll see it.
Hey, no worries. Do you like this?
This is great.
The dead air.
We finally become like a researched podcast. Usually we would have just made something up, but we're citing our sources.
This is Joey Logano's radio. Here, I'm going to deliver it like him. Way to go, Austin. Way to go, you dumb fuck. Way to fucking go. What a stupid shit. You just gave it to him. You gave Toyota stage red. Nice job. Way to go. What a dumbass. Put that in the book again. Thank you.
That was really good.
Thank you. Beautiful. Did I nail it? Did I really give
Honestly,
the energy?
Yeah, you did.
I think like after like probably 3 way to goes, you've delivered your message. Message received. Also, what does he mean in the book? Does he have like a hate book on Austin Cindric? Does he have like a couple pages in his motorsports? Book. He has his motorsports diary like you and I do, but like in it, there's a couple pages that are like things that Austin Cindric did that just pissed me all the way the fuck off.
Angry. Dear diary, you'll never guess what Austin Nepo Baby Cindric did to me.
Nepo Baby Cindric? No. He writes in there, he goes, and he's fucking bald. Got him. And closes it.
He actually, when he got out of the car today, he had so much more hair than I remember him having. And it was like dark hair. I was like, why are we always shaving our head, homie? Like, what are we doing? I
think it's just a vibe. I think Austin Cindric, like, honestly, I think Austin Cindric kind of gives, like, dude in, like, Carhartt cargo pants, but, like, in a trendy neighborhood in, like, New York. And they shave their heads in, like, a fashionable way.
Okay.
He's very fashionable. What can I say? That's what he gives to me.
I'm trying to think if I've ever seen him in clothes outside of his fire suit.
No.
I've only ever seen him in his fire suit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's all he ever wears.
Joey Logano opens his motorsports diary. He doesn't even he's not even like blue collar or anything, but this fuck keeps wearing Carhartt like around the office. It's like pissing me off. He's like, he literally is a Nepo baby. Like, you don't need Carhartt, you fucking idiot. Jeez, you suck. That's, I think I'm now like, I want to like dig deeper. This is the teammate rivalry I was talking about. This is what I needed. Thank you. Put that in full speed. I want to see
Honestly, I would love to see what's going on between those 3 Penske boys.
Their energies especially because like don't align to me. Like there's nothing aligning.
Ryan Blaney, who's just cursed. I mean, that man's cursed. We've got Joey Logano, who's gone the longest after winning the championship previously without like a top 5 finish. Where did he finish? He finished top 5 today. Did he?
Sure. I don't care. I didn't pay attention after Ryan Preece didn't win. I turned it off.
He's almost never one that I look out for. Yeah. And then you've got Austin Cindric, who just just feels like he's like dicking around sometimes, but also sometimes he's
hustling. He's hustling.
He gets close to winning a lot.
Yeah. he's doing
but also
something.
is kind of on like the chopping board because he's not going to be Nepo baby no more.
I think he's ascended Nepo baby, I think. In my opinion.
I don't think anyone ascends Nepo baby.
I just think he's a nice guy. I don't know.
Well,
he looks
sure,
a lot like
but
my friend Caleb.
He does look a lot like our friend Caleb.
So
Our
like
friend.
I like him. Oh yeah, he's your friend now. Fuck off.
I just noticed that you said my friend Caleb, and I would just like to point out that he's our friend Caleb, Austin Cindric's doppelganger.
Okay, I was saying like my friend because I can't speak for you. I don't know if you like Caleb like that. Oh shoot. I'm so sorry, Caleb. You're newly brought into this. The vibes have been very strange between me and MJ all week. I'm gonna be honest. She showed me a playlist. It ruined everything for me. I'm gonna be honest. The podcast has been on the rocks ever since.
It is
she
hard to
showed me
get
this
any support
playlist.
around here. It really, truly is. You know what? I'm starting to feel a little bit like Austin Cindric myself.
You know, Austin Cindric and Alex Bowman, it's always like, the story is always like, does anybody else think that they're going to get fired soon because they fucking suck? And I'm always just like, they're just like out here like doing their fucking best. Jeez, guys. Like,
Well, and they're like consistently
out.
performing better than their. I mean,
yeah.
my man Ryan has had 4 DNFs this year, and we're only 20 races in. That's not great statistic wise.
I will say, of the 4 DNFs, 2 of them is because Penske doesn't know how to make an engine not blow up on race
or the
day.
battery just imploded, which is fine. Still a DNF.
True.
At the end of the day, that's what they write on the records. They don't write, this was Penske's fault.
Mm-hmm. So
Interesting.
take that. But yeah, the Joey Logano radio was just fucking sending me. I was just like, bro, you had to hold your finger on the button very long to say that all on the radio. Like, once you realize like they are going out of their way to radio this stuff, I'm like,
Do you think the spotter was doing the thing that people do, like when they're on the phone call and they don't want to hear what the person is saying, and like as he's going like, way to fucking go, they're like pulling their headphones off and they're like, it's Joey. He's just having a moment.
yeah. Sorry, he's like yelling a little bit. I just didn't want to like hear all of it. Yeah, I just feel like it was a bit much. Also, they like on the broadcast, they went up to like the spotters tower and they were like, it's very tight quarters here. There's like literally not enough room for all of us, but we're going to go ahead and just push our way in here and have a full conversation with the spotters while they're working. Hey, what are you guys up to? And like, to be fair, I think it was like one of those like in between stages times, you know what I mean? But I still kind of was like, there's some things I just don't think we have to do like live on the broadcast, particularly like when it's like you just said that there's literally no room for you. They literally need to ask a spotter to move to allow them up there. Like, that seems like maybe it's just not the time for that. But it was interesting hearing how the spotters talk to each other at these tracks, like how they get on the same page as like the Toyotas. They're all standing near each other and they're all talking. So it is funny to think that the spotter had to be like, so like, what's the plan? Is like, oh, sorry, I'll figure out the plan as soon as Joey's done. He's like kind of taking up the airwaves right now. Yeah, sorry about that. Ty Gibbs, laps leader. Speak on it, Ty Gibbs, defender.
Ty Gibbs is very good this year. In the last 3 races, MVP, All-Star. I've never seen anyone do it like he does. Why are we? Why we are hating the wrong people. I cannot express enough how Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is still on the grid, and we're giving our time of day to Ty Gibbs. Guys, I get that he's a Nepo baby. I get that his hair is really, really blonde, and it almost looks like his skin tone. And I get that he's a monster girl. I'm just saying we could be focusing our efforts collectively somewhere else.
You know what? I'll say it. Not even the most annoying monster car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Love you, Ty Gibbs. The energy on laps down is high for Ty Gibbs.
I didn't have him on my fantasy this week, though.
So not too high, I guess.
Sorry.
I honestly am wishing the best for Ty Gibbs. He makes my heart hurt when they're so mean to him on the broadcast. And I really hope he has a good time. I don't know. There's some people get a Nepo baby pass. I don't know. He's not that annoying to me.
No, he doesn't bother me yet.
Yeah. Denny Hamlin, 2 laps till the end. What was going on in Denny Hamlin's world?
Oh, it was like he gets a call from his radio and they go, "Hey, you are actually going to be 2 laps short on fuel." And he just hits him with a, "Oh God." I just thought that was funny.
There's something about Denny Hamlin. He just comforts, like the way every once in a while he gives like comforting old Southern lady at your church. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that oh God is just like, we all know that lady that serves oh God energy like that. I love Denny. Handled it like a champ. Just hit him with an oh God and then just move on, I guess.
Oh God. They fixed it. They were fine, but it was funny in the moment.
Yeah. It was interesting. They were talking about how they calculate the fuel situation, like how they have the little thingies and then they put the fuel in and then they weigh it to see like how much, and then they like do calculations and math and shit. And it's funny because what's the broadcaster everybody hates? What's his name?
Clint Boyer.
Clint Boyer. He wouldn't let it go. He just kept being like, what happens if you dribble a little on the ground? How does that affect the calculations? They're like, well, it's like a calculation. It's like a rough estimate. You know what I mean? It's not exact. It's like, fine, whatever. I'm sure it's like however much dribbles on the ground. Like, it's fine. He's like, yeah, but like, what if it dribbles on the ground? They're like, Clint, buddy, we're moving on. He's like, no, go back to the pit lane. Ask him what happens if some of it dribbles on the ground. And they literally had to like it's like a disruptive kidding class. Like they literally had to be like, Clint, we're moving on. Like, stop asking about the fucking fuel that like dribbles on the ground. It's not that serious. I feel bad. Do you have like, see, I think I'm just too empathetic today. There's part of me where I'm like, are they being kind of mean to Clint? Like, I don't know. He is annoying, but like he's so excited and he doesn't let their shady comments discourage him. They were being shady on the Happy Hour podcast. Kevin and yes, they were like, well, one day like Clint came in, he has this energy and we realized like he was the missing piece to our like our commentary team, you know, like we're the educators, we're the explainers and he's the personality and he's fun. And then they were like, but you know, sometimes we do go on very unhelpful rants and tangents, and that's just part of Clint. You gotta, you know, we work with him. And then there was like a hard cut. They moved on the topic. And I was like, these little shady bitches were saying some shit on the fucking Happy Hour podcast. No, they literally both probably got on, like they forgot they were filming a podcast and they thought they were having a little FaceTime conversation between the two of them. And you know, those two little shady bitches were talking shit about Clint. And then I was like, oh, now I feel bad. He deserves a podcast episode on the Happy Hour to make his side heard.
He did multiple times point out how well Cody Ware was doing, and I was like, I can't deal with this man anymore. We got to get him out of here.
I've had enough of you, Clint. You're done. So Austin Cindric ends up winning. There was no like, I don't know about you, but I was like kind of freaking out a little bit because I was like, why is nobody wrecking? I think there's supposed to be a big giant wreck right now. Like, why is nobody
That's what
wrecking?
I was told. Yeah.
That's what I thought was happening. All of the promos were about the big one. I was kind of like, okay, so like what's going to happen? Everybody's going to crash like a maniac right now, right? And then they just like didn't do that. And maybe I get what these old-timey NASCAR fans are saying. But it is kind of nice when they just finish the race without destroying half the field. I could see how that could be fun. But I kind of then had less fun when I realized Ryan Preece didn't win.
Oh,
I was like, I think Austin Cindric had Kyle Larson behind him, and as much as I love Austin Cindric, I did have a little voice in my head that was like, Kyle, I won't forgive you for all your sins, but I'll forgive you for a couple if you do something real crazy right now.
Get Ryan Preece across the finish line first.
Just do a little bit of a tap in the wrong place, and we could be fine.
Yeah. I was just happy that Ryan Preece finished Talladega with all 4 tires on the ground.
Firmly planted.
He had a very good race. Ended P2. Was not my multiplier. Actually, Austin Cindric was my multiplier this week.
Are you absolutely seriously joking me?
No, I'm
what
100%
is
serious.
Wrong with you? My multiplier was Ryan Preece.
It was almost Ryan Preece. it was almost Ryan Preece, and I was like, the moment I click that Ryan Preece is my multiplier, that man's getting sent into the air.
He's
So
going to
I
the
was like,
moon.
it was between Austin Cindric and Michael McDowell, and I was like, Michael, we've been through this tango multiple times. I'm gonna tango with Austin Cindric for a moment, and it actually worked out really well.
I can't express to you enough how much I dislike you in this moment. Okay, just so you know, I'm angry and I'm upset and I'm hurt.
I understand.
Okay, now that we got past that, there was speaking of Michael McDowell, just made me think of this one moment in the race where all the Toyotas pitted, and then Carson Horsevar. You guys are gonna know what that joke is someday, I promise. Carson Hocevar pits with the Toyotas, and it kind of made me think of like I don't know, it's just so funny. Like he's like pretending like he was like one of them. Like he was like, "Hey, what's up? Me and my Toyota friends.
He's
I'm
like
definitely one of you guys." Yeah, he was like,
no one here is gonna know.
Yeah, I'm totally blending in. Me and my Ride the Dente car. Nobody's suspecting of us. And it was kind of funny. I do love a little bit with these like drafting tracks, like the friendship part of racing. Like there's something adorable about like the friendship. The power of friendship can help you win the race. And at the end, Ryan Preece was sad he didn't win. But he was like, I just didn't have the same power of friendship in my line that Austin had in his line. Yeah. And that's okay. He said, I think he lost by like 3 feet. He was like, just 3 feet more.
It was like, I think he said 0.002 of a second.
I don't know how time works once we get past
I also like, I really struggle with decimals because in my brain, it just doesn't make sense to do it that way. I do fucks heavy with the Dewey Decimal System though, if we ever want to get into that.
Bonus episode?
What's your favorite way to categorize library books?
I'm going to be honest, in all forms of motorsports, when we start talking about that much of a second, I actually don't care anymore. It's too many zeros. I don't really understand how that number works. I just like looking at the picture. And they showed Austin Cindric's car and then Ryan Preece's car. And I go, that's good enough for me. He lost about yay much. That's about how much he lost by. Yay. About this much. If you laid down 2 yardsticks and then like just kind of measured, that's how much he lost by probably.
Do you think it was 6 feet?
No, they said 3. So just 1 yardstick, I guess, is all you need.
Yeah, you could get away with 1 yardstick. Maybe like a tape measure if you're feeling crazy.
No, the tape measure is gonna get all bendy and weird.
That's true, and you have to have someone else hold it because it's like
it's just
no, that's fair. And the banking.
Dude, the banking is kind of fun. They kept showing like the onboard, and I was like, "Ooh, we're going for a ride."
It makes me almost like sick to my stomach. I'm like, please be careful, guys. You should be focusing.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I don't think we should drive sideways. It's more of a front and forward sort of thing, not a sideways sort of thing. Just a thought. But I had fun, I guess, in Talladega. I was expecting worse. I thought we were going to get a big one. I thought there was going to be lots of sadness. There was minimal sadness. Christopher Bell had to take an L. Connor Zilic had to take an L. Catherine Legg had to take an L. All of those things hurt, but I think we could have come out worse.
For sure. I'm not really interested in the big ones anymore. I'm too interested in fantasy for a big one to fuck all that up for me.
I had more fun at this than I did at Daytona.
I think I had more fun. Well, because like Elio was there. And there's just something about seeing that little Wendy's car in the back and just being like, you gotta make it till the end. You gotta keep going.
Who that in the back? You and I watching Xfinity, it was so funny. We were on FaceTime with each other and we literally were like, is that Catherine? Who that in the back?
She's back there.
Who's back there?
Look, she's in a pack of her own.
Oh, she's got friends. Go, Catherine. Get with your friends. Power of friendship. Woo! So yeah. Extra Formula One Academy docuseries on May 28th.
What? Andrea, you're missing part of your job.
Oh my god, I can't believe I almost forgot fan favorite. That would have been horrible.
That would have been really bad. We would have had to. I mean, that would have ruined
Do you have
the World
yours?
Tour.
Do you have yours?
It's gonna be the same one it always is.
Should we switch it up just for like the sake of the
I'm trying. Okay, you go first, and I'll try to think of someone who isn't truly my fan favorite, but I thought put in a good effort this week.
Mm-hmm. I think that I really enjoyed Daniel Suarez's little video that he did with NASCAR where he was running, like they did the like running interview thing again, because A, he did not look like he was having a good time running. He did not want to be running. B, he's the only one who brought their wife. Like, I just think that's funny. Like, the NASCAR lady was like, and his wife is here. And then she was filming for her vlog, which I think is fun to get that POV. He did like a little joke where he just goes, "The police!" and then just started running faster. And I just think that transcends language barriers. Like, that's always funny. And it was interesting, actually, like hearing him. He talked about like how he met Julia. He talked about Talladega. He had a pretty good weekend, I would say. Like, I mean, he definitely had those mistakes on pit road, but like, there's no Daniel Suarez. Like, I felt comfortable looking at him. I didn't think he was going to crash. And that's, I think, a good weekend for Daniel Suarez. So he can be my fan favorite.
I'm having a hard time. Maybe
Just
I'll
go
give
with
it
your
to-
heart. Just go with your heart. Just go with your heart.
Yeah, my
It's
heart
fine.
says it's Ryan Preece, dude. Man is
It
putting
is.
more effort into social media than I feel like you and I put into our social media.
No,
the one
his memes are so funny. I literally am mad that we
the
didn't
one
think of it.
video where it was like he started like filming himself, and it was like when you realize your boss follows you on TikTok or whatever, and then he's like taking pictures of him like working and stuff. I don't know. It was
Being
just
like,
really, really
it was like going to the driver's meeting, so happy to be here. Or it's like when
Yeah.
you see a fingerprint on the car, and it's like him like buffing the car. It's
that
like
was really good.
there was one where it's like, I don't need a lunch break, I just need a Celsius.
The nice little sponsors. I thought that was really funny. He's going above and beyond on social media, and I wouldn't expect it from him because I feel like he doesn't super need to be like gaining that young audience, whereas you have like, or not young audience, but like new audience, whereas you have like the big hitters, the heavy hitters, like Alex Bowman. We never see jack shit from him. Ryan Blaney, we did get a video from this week, and it was kind of weird. So I'm just
It's like, what's wrong at home, bud?
Like, what's going on? Why are you fucking around in a grocery store, dude? Don't you have
What's
a job?
going on?
But no, it's gonna be Ryan Preece.
I saw Ryan Preece organically pop up on my TikTok For You page, and I realized that he's now posting more on TikTok. And I was getting great memes from him on Instagram, and I was so excited to see him on TikTok. So like, Ryan Preece, thank you for becoming a TikToker. It's so important to the show. It is so important to me and MJ. We love your content. Some of our favorites are the SpongeBob meme. We love the crock pit. We keep coming back to the crock
pit.
We keep coming back to that. But I have to say that when your boss follows you on social media it's creeping
So
up there.
good.
It's really good.
It was really good. And him and was it him and Todd Gilliland and someone else? Was it Justin Haley? They did the little Talladega Nights thing with their sponsors.
Oh,
Did you
I
see
didn't
that?
that? No.
Where they all had like little like, and I think it was Talladega Nights where they all had like really cheesy one-liners about their sponsors.
Love them.
I was like, that was okay.
I'm a big fan.
I see you.
I guess it's tough. Yeah, I think Ryan Preece is like go-to. I also want to give an honorable mention again to Carson Hocevar. He did a full thing with Cletus McFarlane at the Ride the Dente. I have a couple notes, though. One of them being he's very bad at the mechanical bull. He has bad technique. You need to work on it, bud. He's a little bit lanky, and I feel like he wasn't using his limbs to his advantage.
Sure doesn't help that it was in the shape of a margarita shaker versus like a bowl.
Right.
And it was like
I think he could have done
shiny.
better.
Yeah,
It's a
no, he
little
definitely
slippery.
should have been using his legs a lot more, but he was using his heart and he was having a good time.
Yeah.
And so how can we fault him for that?
Yeah. And I have to say, too, NASCAR is very lucky that Cletus McFarland is as nice as he is, because he was carrying their social media this weekend, including also like their broadcast. He was very heavily featured in the broadcast. He was doing his own social media things. He was doing social media with all the teams, NASCAR, everything. I don't know if they're paying you, Cletus, or should I call you Garrett? Because people get very upset when I call you Cletus. I have to say, if they're not paying you, or even if they are paying you, it's probably not enough. I would up the number, because you're doing them way more favors than they're doing you, probably. But it was very funny content. I liked his little camper setup and everything, and he was just happy to be there. And he ran the ARCA race. I think he placed top 10.
Top 10.
Also, did we see that we had a woman on the ARCA podium? Top 3 finish? I was excited to see that. Sorry to you losers that wanted to be mean to her in the comments, but I was having a good time, and I hope she was having a good time, and I hope you had your Talladega party, queen. I hope you had the best time ever.
What is her
and
name?
I
feel
her.
bad.
I followed her on
Shouting
Instagram.
her out.
I'm going to look her up. I followed her on Instagram. I was like so excited.
Isabella Robusto.
Isabella.
She's in a Yoda. Number 55.
Can we do our extras now? Sorry, I tried to move on to our extras before we did fan favorite, and I didn't want to throw things off. You know what I mean? Can we move on to extras?
Absolutely.
Are we comfortable with that?
I think that would be just dandy.
Okay. We have the Formula One Academy docuseries to premiere on May 28th. You and I talked a little bit about it. I'm a little nervous. I would love to do a bonus episode or something to talk fully about our ideas around this. There was another content creator who I came across that was talking about the 7 deadly sins of women's motorsports. And then me and MJ both kind of like caught on to the idea and we're like looking into it. And we would love to talk about it fully in a bonus episode someday. But what my fear is kind of revolves around this. I'm worried that the F1 Academy docuseries is going to be too focused on selling the empowerment of F1 Academy, selling this ideal of like, look how cool this opportunity is. I think you brought up like it's probably going to be a lot of like sob story, like, oh, like they didn't have any seat in motorsports, which is a very true reality for a lot of women in motorsports that is worth highlighting. And now they have this wonderful opportunity in F1 Academy, whatever. Here's my problem. I don't think that is going to sell F1 Academy to watchers of motorsport. I think it's just going to sell F1 Academy to like the very corporate-y interests that kind of surround F1 Academy, like the inspiringness of it all. I don't really feel like I will resonate as a viewer, and I'm worried I'm going to watch it and be like, kind of sucked.
Yeah, if we're marketing, I have a lot of the same fears, but if we're marketing this as like a motorsport, like that you want people to tune into, you have to market it like a motorsport. And I just feel like they're going to do a lot of the surface level women empowerment thing that we see a lot of people do. I don't know. I'm nervous about it because I think it has potential to be really good. There are some insane drivers on the grid right now. And I think it was also about last year as well. Yeah, it had to be. It was last year.
Yeah. So I want to see like competition and like domination by Abby Pulling. I want to see people fighting. I want to see
Drive to Survive just with this cast of characters. I want the exact same thing. I
want drama.
That's what I want. I want to learn about the sport. I want to learn about these drivers and how they drive. Just don't feed me a bunch of like corporate women empowerment stuff. Yeah. Like it'll happen. The women empowerment exists within these women's like stories, within like the narratives that are naturally there. It's like you don't have to be like, and isn't this cool because like she is a race car driver, but also she's a woman. It's like, well, you don't have to feed that to me. Like just tell me about Abby Pulling and I'll be like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like I don't need all this. But maybe it's not going to be like that.
And this is us like basically basing judgments off of something that literally is not out yet. We have not seen anything. Right. We have no clue. I'm saying this based on how I've seen marketing go in the past for F1 Academy and how the conversation around F1 Academy having this TV show was. Like, me and MJ were in Las Vegas when they were announcing that they were doing this docuseries, and they were actually filming for it at the event we were at. And they were like just like kind of revealing that they were like filming this, and it was like exciting. And maybe things have changed since then, but at the time it was kind of like Susie Wolf was talking about, oh, everybody said, oh, you should try to get on Drive to Survive. And she's like, we have our own Drive to Survive now. But isn't that like so inspiring? We get to talk about these women's stories. Oh, so like empowering. And I'm like, okay, I'm a little worried that it's going to be like pink washed. It's going to just
like
everything's
bubblegum
going to
feminism or something.
Yeah, everything's going to have this fucking Blue Origin Katy Perry space flight sparkle wand.
Yeah.
Like that energy just kind of dusted on top. I'm not saying even then that I will hate it. I would love to talk about it when it comes out, but I'm just saying now, I'm voicing my fears now. I'm also voicing the fear that I think we're doing too much with TV for motorsports. I think that it's like a Band-Aid to a problem, and it's getting out of hand. They're doing this. They're also doing a Kimi. This is like, I guess officially confirmed, but like kind of softly confirmed that there's a Kimi Antonelli docuseries about his rise into F1 or something like that, taking Lewis Hamilton's spot. I have no idea. There's also Full Speed. We also have the Formula E docuseries that's happening on Amazon Prime. We also have the Earnhardt docuseries that's happening on Prime. All of this is happening apparently in the month of May, which is also when racing happens, like important racing that people are tuned into. And I'm just wondering, like, is there no way we could have spread this out more? Is there no way these shows could have come out while no racing is happening to keep people engaged? Is there no way we could have maybe communicated amongst ourselves to make sure we weren't all overloading the system with TV shows about motorsports? And also, are we even thinking that this works anymore? Because I'm not convinced. Like, I think that people that already watch motorsports will watch it. I don't think it's going to get new fans, personally.
I think it will get new fans. Okay. But the issue is if they fall into like the DTS situation where DTS brought in a bunch of new fans and then Formula One did fuck all about it. I think that's where the issue is going to be. With like the smaller series, like I don't think isn't Full Speed coming out soon as well? I don't think that's necessarily going to bring in new fans. I think like the Earnhardt documentary, I think that's for old existing fans, but we have like the Mazda Cup documentary that's about like the all women's team. I think that could get in new fans, and I think that series and the people who like produce that show would be more interested in being like, okay, we got him here, like what do we do now? Whereas or even like Formula E, I think is another good example, doing that little series, and I know they have one coming out soon where they have all the celebrity drivers. As long as they do these and then continue to put their money where their mouth is and bring those fans into the actual sport, I will be fine with it. If we're going to have just a bunch of Drive to Survives where it's like, yeah, you bring new fans in and then like
nothing happens.
And then you just make your sport incredibly inaccessible for everybody, like what's the point here? Then I'll kind of be like, all right, we got to stop this. I'm just waiting for someone to... One of these people have to do it right. One of these series has to do it right. And then I'll be like, okay, we can stop now.
Most nervous about the F1 Academy one, but I also am the most hopeful for it. Like, if they can do it right, I think it will have the most payoff. Because it's not hard to get people into F1 Academy if they already watch F1. It's on the same fucking weekend. Just turn your TV on sooner, and then there you go. The only reason why people don't watch F1 Academy is because of either A, sexism, or B, they feel no connection to it. They don't care to tune in. They don't know who the drivers are, and they don't have like the interest in learning it. And maybe this series can solve that problem. So I think I'm most nervous but most hopeful for that one being successful. I don't know
and
about
something
you.
Nice about the F1 Academy one is if they're like, they watch the series because they either watch the sport already or because they watch Drive to Survive and enjoyed that. And they're like, oh, I'd like to check out F1 Academy. They don't have to pay $200 a year to watch it. It's all free on YouTube. So already I'm like, okay, they're doing a little bit more than the other series has, or like even NASCAR. They're like, okay, you watched Full Speed, you enjoyed it. Now you're
You
going to
need
have to have
5
regular
streaming
season.
services.
It's on 5 different streaming services. You're going to have cable for a short period of time. I think that Formula One Academy, whether it was intentional or not, has kind of set themselves up for success in that way. Or even, Formula E is free to stream too. So I think those are good examples. I don't know. I'm excited for us to talk about it at the end of the month of May. Maybe we do like a
Recap
right after
who did it
May
best,
ends.
who did it worst.
We binge all of them, and we can do like a really in-depth tier ranking and how we the all-knowing would have done it better,
the deciders of motorsports marketing. MJ.
Correct.
MJ with credentials, Andrea with opinions.
Hell yeah.
That's our dynamic here. Speaking of Formula E, we had official confirmation that McLaren is leaving Formula E in exchange for their WEC program. Lots to unpack here. There was lots of immediate fears. I don't know if you want to talk these people off a ledge.
Yeah, so, and I feel like they didn't do a very good job of holding people's hands and explaining it. I think with a series that is so small and not as popular, but has a lot of cross-series fans, I think you gotta calm the storm a little bit. McLaren is leaving the Neom McLaren team at the end of this season. The team is still going to exist. Like, those seats are not just disappearing. I saw a lot of people being like, it's so sad that Sam Bird and Taylor Bernard are gonna like be unemployed after the season. And it's like, well, they wouldn't be unemployed as long as they can get a contract. Like, those seats, they're not just like pulling those seats out from under them. That was a huge thing. Also Neom, which I recently found out is like the Saudi Arabian Public Interest Fund, and Neom is like the name of their like future city.
I'm gonna be honest, I thought it was like something cool and like robotic vibes.
Like a race car thing. Like, Neom sounds like the sound that the little fucking cars make. Yeah. So I was like, oh, it's like, that's kind of cute.
Neom.
But they're still signed on to that team, whatever it is, for 2026. So like, they're still gonna have that money or whatever, although they did deny doing like a 4-year extension, so it's going to be short-lived. But we saw this exact same thing happen in 2022 when Mercedes EQ won the drivers' championship and won the team championship and was like, guys, we gotta go. We gotta get out of here. That's when McLaren came in.
They were like, wow, that was a lot of fun.
That was really great. 2 years. That's all it took us to do literally everything we could in this sport. Gotta go. And actually, the team principal for them, Ian James, is also the team principal for McLaren, or Neom McLaren now. So, like,
Neom.
Guys, it's going to be fine. The only thing that's going to change is it's not going to be
the
orange.
title. The title of the team.
As long as they can find a new investor. It's going to be a different story if, like, literally no one else wants to invest. That would be crazy. Yeah. But they even have a power unit for next year. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I think probably the worst part of this is the optics, that McLaren is like loudly stating, we think we can get more benefit out of this hypercar situation than we can the Formula E series. But like, McLaren doesn't make electric vehicles anyways, I recently found out. So like,
they were just hanging out over there, to be fair.
It was just kind of a seat filler. We're also gonna like miss like the cross series promotion, but hopefully Andretti will kind of step up with that. I don't know. I was like, obviously, like, okay, that sucks for Formula E in the way of it was such an easy way to get Formula One fans into Formula E. They go, oh, you like that orange team? What about this orange team? And I feel the same way about Aero McLaren. It's like orange team cross-pollination. Whenever somebody says, I want to get into this motor series, I'm a McLaren fan, I go, you're going to be so excited to hear they have one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's fine. That's more of a convenience for me than anything else, you know what I mean? I'll live. I also do think that a lot of people were reading this into this as like, trend alert, WEC is going to be a big deal soon. Like, a lot of people were like, this means that WEC is like going to be the new thing, and all these brands are going to start pouring money into WEC, and all these people are going to start watching WEC. Do you believe that? Do you think that this is like a trend alert sort of thing? Is this like them being trend forecasters and making the move before everybody else inevitably makes the move?
Well, because who else is? Ford is going to be in WEC.
They announced that they were joining WEC again.
So
is it like everybody's kind of like, let's do this WEC thing? Like, this seems exciting.
I mean, yes, I guess so. And I'm probably, like, it's probably more beneficial for these, like, manufacturers to do WEC to, like, learn stuff about the cars that they make. But, like, from a fan perspective, you're not going to get the issue is McLaren is Formula One fans. Famously very difficult to convert to any other series. Like the Formula One truthers.
If you have an oval or more than one driver, they're probably not going to be down.
Correct. So do I think that McLaren going to, and I know this isn't really what you asked, but do I think that McLaren going to WEC is going to like bring the fans to WEC? No. I think you're more likely to get people like us who just like fuck around in every motorsport to be like, okay, well, if McLaren's going and you got Ford going, we got a bit of a Ferrari situation. I think Penske is there. Like maybe we should go dick around in WEC for a little bit. Then yes, but like I don't think McLaren going to WEC is going to shake things up in Formula One fandom.
Yeah. And would they be the only team that's in all of like the Triple Crown related series? Because there's like no Penske in F1. There's no Andretti. Andretti's not either. There's no Ferrari and IndyCar. There's no, like, I'm trying to think of like all these like different crossover. Like they would be the only one that's in all of them.
You've got Andretti in IndyCar, and then are we counting Cadillac as an Andretti cousin?
We need to get to the bottom of that, because honestly, a lot of people are under the assumption, I think because they did that whole like, oh, like this isn't Andretti, it's Cadillac. A lot of people bought that as that Andretti's not involved in this. And I keep trying to be like, no, I'm pretty sure this is still Andretti, guys. They just involved. They just like kind of like buffed the edges a little bit so that FIA would like, or not, like F1 would be cool with it, but like it is still Andretti in my mind.
Yeah.
Like the backers behind it, the driving focus, the people that are picking the fucking drivers and stuff like that is like Andretti people.
That's interesting. I didn't even think about the fact that McLaren is in the Triple Crown. I wonder if they're going to be good when they get to WEC. That's what I want to know. Because if they are, they do have the potential to like not necessarily
sweep.
Well, I mean, yeah, like complete the Triple Crown team wise.
Like in what, like they could do it in like 1 year. Yeah. They could win all of them. They could win Le Mans.
Oscar Piastri have Monaco. They could have Nolan Siegel win the Indy 500, and then they could have I couldn't tell you who their WEC drivers are going to be. That's also like 2 years away, guys. Can we put a pin in it? We'll come back to this,
guys. In 2 years on Laps Down, when we revisit this, we'll like insert this clip. Hopefully, future Andrea is just as charming and maybe had like full facelift reconstruction surgery. No. And then when we insert the clip, you're going to be like, whoa, that's Andrea? I don't know. That'd be just funny.
And I'm blonde for some reason.
Who knows what 2027 Andrea and MJ will be. But yeah, thank you for clearing that up, MJ. I think a lot of people were freaking the freak out about this.
Yeah, it's going to be fine.
A lot of people were ready to also just throw out FE. They were like,
I think this is the end of Formula E. And I was like, hey, guys, I actually have a lot of conspiracies as to what Formula E might become in the couple years. And I think their future is bright.
We should do that in a bonus episode someday, too. Your conspiracy theory.
My conspiracy theories?
I
have stuff to back them up.
Though. Yeah, I don't think we're ready to reveal it yet. I think we got to like let like 1 or 2 more evidence pieces fall into place. And then you're going to really click send on it. Alrighty, well, I think that's everything for our episode today. Anything else to add, MJ?
We have all 4 series discussed today next weekend. We've got Formula E, we've got IndyCar, we've got F1, and we've got NASCAR.
We also, though, won't be posting an episode until probably Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, probably Wednesday. Yeah. Because we're probably going to film on Tuesday, post it on Wednesday, if that's all right with you guys.
Also have to watch all of those races.
Well, we can watch them on the plane. We can record them and watch them on the plane.
When we're sitting in the airport for like 6 hours.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, we're going to be in Miami. Be sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram if you want all of the fun Miami content. We have a lot of it planned out on both our personals and on the Laps Down accounts. Thank you guys so much for listening. And on that note, say bye, MJ.
Goodbye.